One, the adventurers wake up having slept through a restless sleep, something deep inside them, a secret, dark information they've been holding from everyone could come to light. And for some reason, on this particular day, they all look at each other knowing that despite them each having their own internal trauma, this this secret played over and over again. They know that today may be the day that is revealed to everyone. Guys, today we're talking about the Day of Secrets. So let's top off with our mind fuel, get into it. All right, guys. I think this Day of Secrets. I think this is kind of a gimme for us world builders, those of us that love narrative, um, looking a little bit beyond the mechanics of our tabletop role playing games, and kind of getting into the the emotional aspects of role playing, if I could even, if that is even a thing. It's the um it's so I believe it's part of our unspoken desire for, or at least a section of us that love role playing games, our desire to have our role playing games merge psychologically with us as a, like, moving along steps in our trials and tribulations of desire and growth. And I know I know I'm sounding a little bit like highfalutin here, but it's similar to actors and that are performers, whether they are um, stage performers or something of that nature. And sometimes they talk about, man, I really want to develop the arc for my character. And despite the fact it's an artificial being, it's an artificial construct, there's something in our brains that if we can connect this artificiality, we're just rolling some dice and pretending, to connect that into a memory in our brains where we go from being very divorced from our characters to into them. um, there's something about it where instead of going, well, my character defeated a dragon, it's like your brain convinces yourself that it wasn't my character, it was literally me defeating a dragon. And I think this Day of Secrets kind of falls into that category where listen, we all know that every player loves to have these dark secrets for their character, and once they're revealed, we all think we're really cool when we reveal this secret and everyone else just rolls their eyes about it. But I think internally we like this idea that there's going to be something dramatic, that the world changes when our secrets are revealed. And so I think part of the Day of Secrets is that. The other part is we do a lot of world building. Like we kind of suffer this, display the side effects of having world builders disease, and doing all this work to make this great setting and have your players in it. Sometimes there's secrets in and around it that we really want to tell our players. And why not have a day of secrets where we kind of get to reveal some of that, or at least leave breadcrumbs for our players to go after it? But our co-hosts here have a lot to say about these kind of things. So yeah, Drew says it's a secret that today is the Day of Secrets, which would be kind of strange and ironic to not announce to your players that it's the Day of Secrets, and every time if they're this is day 7 of the day of in your own game, and then all of a sudden it's like the next day and you're like, no, it's not any special day. And they're like, "Are you sure?" And, there's the game master, or storyteller, or narrator. You're like, "Nah, it's not any particular day." And then all of a sudden, like they interact with NPCs and adversaries and monsters and stuff, and all of them are like, "Shh, don't say anything about this." And the PCs are like, "What are you talking about?" That would be pretty. That in a weird twist of a way, that would be kind of fun to not announce that it's the Day of Secrets, and then come to find out that everyone's like, "Don't tell anybody." But first rule of Day of Secrets: do not talk about Day of Secrets. Second rule of Day of Secrets: you do not talk about the Day of Secrets. Yeah. Uh, mm-mm. Vince says, minor spoiler for Baldur's Gate 3. There are certain situations where, it's not really, where you meet characters and you receive their thoughts through psionic connections, which often includes secrets. In little shout out to Level Up Advanced 5th Edition, in A5E, there are um, there are storytelling mechanisms built into some of the monsters, and some of them are like, this monster controls your mind, or takes control of your body, or paralyzes you, does some kind of mental psychic thing, and in return for losing access to your player, your character, so the player ends up kind of sitting on the sidelines, at least temporarily, they receive some kind of connection, or a secret is revealed, or their mind is open to the cosmos, or something like that. It's basically like a slight gimme for going like, yeah, your character's out to fight. But that is kind of a cool thing as well. I mean, even in the midst of a battle, we can still role play. Like, the monsters could very much give away information unknowingly, giving away a secret or pointing out something while you're rolling dice and rolling initiative and rolling damage and things like that. I mean, just by virtue of monsters going like, oh, talking to the player characters like you're agents of the Red Dawn. Again, they send them after us, and again, we will dispatch you. And the PCs are like, "What are you talking about? And what is that? A piece of information?" You know, um, like, who's the Red Dawn, and why were there two other groups sent after them? Who are they, and why do they think we're the third one? Right? Vince says, I once had the idea of having every character write down progressively more spicy secrets about their character. Okay. Um, Writing down progressively more spicy secrets about their character so you can reveal them one after another and keep the character fresh. There are some narrative driven role playing games that have elements like this. Fate falls into this category a little bit. Uh, Invisible Sun is another one where secrets can be revealed. Um, what's the Blades in the Dark? Blades in the Dark has a trauma mechanism where, as your character gets injured, and that's um, relatively speaking, physically, emotionally, economically, you receive these levels of trauma. And some of those are like working against your player characters and keeping deep, dark secrets, and things like that, or secrets are revealed. Um, I could see, I love tying story elements to mechanisms, and it would be pretty interesting to tie, like, instead of having hit points or wound systems or whatever stress, whatever system you're using for your game, or you want to recontextualize for your game, that when you suffer a certain amount, you must reveal a secret, or keep a dark secret, or something like that, like, where all the players know what's going on, but the characters don't know. And if it is revealed, it becomes like a negative factor for the character, right? Like, I don't know, someone is revealed, claims they're a noble, and then you find out that the character really isn't a noble, that they stole someone's identity. It's like, oh no, sometimes it can be played up a little. I think secrets can be played up a little bit too much, but yeah, on the Day of Secrets, we'll get into some other things. I have some other ideas about this. Like I said, on this Day of series, I try not to to think about it too much, because I want it to be fresh and then get ideas, reflect off of ideas from you guys. So yeah. Vince is not everyone's cup of tea, obviously, but I like the idea anyways of getting that like psychic, like having a secret revealed. It could be maybe the player characters on the day of secrets when the players interact with other people, NPCs and adversaries and enemies, that they are revealing secrets and they don't know that they are revealing the secrets. So maybe the day of secrets is kind of weirdly like a day of truths. Although if every NPC and adversary absolutely lies to the player characters, that would be different as well. Although then I guess it would be called a day of lies. But or maybe it's the day where if secrets are revealed, it's kind of like the greatest downfall. Any other day, nobody would really care. But on the day of secrets, it's like, ooh, they take it real serious. Drew says, I have to slay every day a dragon, which is my depression. Ooh, sorry about that. Uh, Listen, many of us are the deep dark secret about psychological issues is that we all have them, and we are always on a spectrum at every waking moment, and maybe every sleeping moment too. So while I don't know what that feels like, I'm very sorry. Um, Vince says, interesting idea. Maybe you could make a list of random secrets for NPCs you interact with, and you could find them with read mind or social interactions and use them to your advantage. And I like the fact that you capitalized the A there for advantage. Yeah, it could be um, in the olden days, back in my day, with the old Dungeons and Dragons modules, many of them, the first couple of pages or whatever, they had a list of rumors. It was like rumors, secrets, or something that players could find out about before they actually went on the adventure, before they knocked on the front door of the dungeon. And the idea of that was you would have like maybe 60% truisms and then another like split between like 60% true, 30% red herrings, or some of the rumors and secrets would be not quite true, and then there would be like 10% was complete fabrications. Now it wasn't that people were lying, it's just that they didn't understand. And then the players would then gather that stuff together. They had sages and henchmen and retainers and things to maybe go out into the world and find out some of that information, bring it back. And because going into the dungeons was so lethal, you needed as much information as possible. Were we going to fight I don't know, gator folk, or are we going to fight um, ephemeral spirits, or are there beast men, or is this a place of illusion and lies? Like that, it's that kind of thing. And then you could prep yourself for how you're going to go into the dungeon and things like that. So having those kind of lists, or at least making up those lists for people in your world and doing such a thing, is actually kind of a cool idea. Drew says, for my own system, I also have that people can establish a secret at character creation. And if they reveal that to someone they trust, they can reduce stress in game. See, thank you very much for putting that out there. I love tying like these wishy-washy, feel good, feel bad, like emotional, social, interactive things, and then tying it to a mechanic, because, and especially if it's by choice, because in a role-playing game, we've got carrots and sticks, right? Sometimes you do something and you are mechanically punished for doing the thing. So that's the stick. Bam, you did something wrong. Bam, the game doesn't like it. Bam, bam, bam. But when it what but game design carrots are things that you don't have to do that thing, but if you do it, you kind of get a little bonus for it, right? We all know that you're going to do the thing, but if you're going to bother to do the thing, here's a gimme, here's a trinket, here's a bonus. And getting rid of like stress, wounds, mental exhaustion, in one of the, not first games, but one of the widest ranging games that really embraced this was the White Wolf game series. And in the White Wolf game series back in mid 90s. So anyway, mid early 2000s, whatever. Vampire the Masquerade and all the other games that came after it. They have something called willpower. And to gain back your willpower, you had nature and demeanor. It was like a behavior that you have for your character. It was their version of alignment. And how did it work? Well, you could, you weren't forced to, but you could act in this way. If you did, you regained willpower, and willpower gave you automatic successes. So when you burned willpower, how did you regain it back? Well, you behave the way you've designed your character. Are you a judge or a caretaker or a bon vivant? Are you a director? These were titles for certain behaviors, and they had listed in there um, like a director. If you come up, it might be something like, if you come up with an idea, a plan, and the other players enact that plan and it succeeds, gain yourself a willpower point. Right now, you didn't have to do that because maybe you don't have any really great ideas, but you want to get that willpower back, you need to do it. And I love doing, like, reveal a secret, reveal something um, that could be used against your character. And if you made this gamified, here's a great way for players to work against each other, to like use secrets again. It's the player versus player without the physical let's roll some dice and kill each other, right? It's revealing each other's secrets and using them and finding out that you are vulnerable in this world because of revealing your secrets. And I like that. Vince says, weird that I bring up Houses of the Blooded again, but another cool idea in there is that each person has three names in there: one public, one for family, and a secret name your mother whispered to you when you were an infant. If you reveal this name to anyone, you get a huge mechanical boost to your role, but everyone knowing your secret name could control you with blood magic, similar to True Name. Um, Not many games use true naming, where the idea behind it, for those who aren't familiar with true names, or the idea of mysticism in true names, is if you actually learn the true name of a thing, a person, a place, or an idea, or whatever, you have control over that thing. So if you learn the true name of a tree, you could speak it and instantly turn it to dust or make it grow. You can have it follow you down the street or something. And the same goes for sentient beings. If you learn the true name of a demon or a devil, you could summon it and control it. It could never hurt you. And that's actually kind of cool that, you have different names, and if those names are spoken to you, that that name was spoken to you when you were an infant, and there's a way to find out what that name is. I like that. How interesting would it be to have like secrets become maybe a physical thing, and the players are trying to get those secrets back? That would be pretty interesting as well, where somehow, some kind of way, like there might be secrets or memories or something of that nature, a commodity that has a social impact, but also maybe has a physical impact as well. Like you could actually get back the secrets that were inside of you. Or maybe there's a giant book, and the PCs end up writing their secrets in this mystic book, and the book, of course, disappears into the wild of the world, and the PCs are like, I want to get that book back. I'm gonna rip the pages out of that damn thing. Juices, I really have to get eventually to look at Houses of the Blood. It is indeed funny how we talk again about that game. Yeah, like Vince says, sometimes there's some great ideas in there. Yeah, Vince says, yeah, it has a ton of great ideas on different topics. I just don't like the rules much. Great, great to have a game where you can start snatching things out of it. Like hey, you guys know I talk about Blades in the Dark all the time because um as I mentioned on Heath's Geekverse, and I was over there at Heath's Geekverse one day with you, Vince. But anyway, um Blades in the Dark is probably one of the most modern games that has elements of it, the most stealable elements in a game that I've ever seen. It had so many things, from flashbacks to stress mechanics to heat to um, using vices to heal to so on and so forth, right? And I like that. Vince says there used to be a character class for D&D called the True Namer from the Tome of Magic, which had a cool theme and idea, but the mechanics were sadly lacking because it still was was based on a skill check. Yeah, yeah. Juice says I usually set my nature and demeanor in the White Wolf games to be contradictive. I love that too. I loved my character that had survivor nature and martyr demeanor. Thus, they pretended to be sacrificial. For those who don't know, um, nature and demeanor was like alignment, and your nature was far more permanent than demeanor. So a character could, and we did this in our games, if we didn't play for a while, we would just change. We had the option to change our demeanors. So demeanor is like what you present out to the world, and maybe for a while you presented yourself out to be someone of a uh, of of an arrogant sort, someone who is overly overconfident and self assured and rub people the wrong way. But maybe your nature is something that's a little bit more pleasant, and your nature doesn't change often, but your demeanor could through gameplay, and we did it through time to show like aging. And but the thing is, you could mix and match too. So, like for example, Drew here says they had survivor as their nature and martyr as their demeanor, and you could swap those two, and the character would be completely different. And so I liked it because you had a list of in the beginning they were about maybe 8 to 10, maybe 12 of these like of these words that described how you would behave, and by mixing and matching them, you had really great character options. So I loved it. It's a very simple, it's very stealable as well. But I really like that from the game. I think it didn't get as much. I didn't think it got as much love as I think it deserved for a both mechanical and storytelling system to easily replace alignment. Um, Mm-mm-mm. Just hard to do. Vince says, "Yeah, I do stuff like that too. Building a character that has a certain base, but the abilities or background or how he behaves is completely different. It's a neat challenge. Yeah, like playing classic Dungeons and Dragons, not classic, fifth edition Dungeons and Dragons. Like I've made paladin characters that had a background of criminal, or you make a barbarian character with a background of noble or something like that. So I like it. Yep." Yeah, Vince says, yeah, he's Geekverse. Yeah, he's reading Blades in the Dark, going through it, and they're yeah. Vince says I was in the chat both times, explained stuff to him. Even said that I would GM a game for his group, but I'm not sure if the scheduling would work out. Yeah, I actually I was there. I heard because I'm a letter carrier, I get to listen in on a lot of things. So he's kind of like a great long form podcast for me live, and I love it. And yeah, Blades in the Dark is one of these games that has these mechanized mechanical elements that I think could very well be stolen. Like, for example, using this Day of Secrets, you could use Day of Secrets to it could be used like a flashback mechanic. So an example would be um, maybe there's some kind of story element happening in your game, and you want to reward your players for engaging in the world, and you could do it through secrets. And so, for example, it could be let's do the classic guards in front of a place the player characters need to enter. Guards are suspicious of anyone that comes close and wants entry. PCs come up to the guard, gets ready to say something. Guard's like, who goes there? You can't enter. I'm going to pull the bell or blow the whistle or whatever. Alert someone, you're going to be arrested. And a player, instead of going, I'm going to make a charisma check and convince them to let me in, it could be, um, I've got 5 points. I want to use a point because I know a secret about the guard. We have a secret together, right? And then that could weave something into your game where, all right, I want to use a point to say that I have a secret with the guard. Then technically you're still rolling a skill check, right? Whether it's like a flashback or for me using the context of a secret, In a way, a secret is a retcon of a situation. PC never saw the guard before, but today they have some dark secret between them. And then you spend the point, roll the dice, success or failure. That still exists. That secret still exists in the world, and I think that could be a really cool way to like blend the characters to become intrinsic into the world. I have a secret with this person. That person might have told that secret to someone else. I'm holding I have leverage over this person, which there is a game based on the television show Leverage. And they in the game Leverage, they have a social mechanism that states that you cannot socially influence someone without leverage over them. And so you have to discover leverage, basically discover a secret about that person to gain leverage over them. And very common pieces of leverage could be you find out they have a great hobby, or they have a debt to a criminal organization, or they come across as rude and evil, but they're really taking care of a loved one, or they have a drug habit, or they are vying for a position to go to a higher rank, but there's something holding them back. And so a game of buying and horse trading secrets, leverage to get what you want to do a thing, might be pretty interesting. You know, the bandits that or rebel force that controls the your fantasy's trade route, and finding out like, oh, we need to find out why it is that they keep blocking our path and wanting to fight us. And and there's any number of reasons why. Some could be very broad, but others could be very secretive in how it's done. Let's get back into what you guys have to say. uh Vince says Blades often feels more like a board game oftentimes, but it is a great template for actual play. Yes, because it's far more crunchy than it comes across, because it seems to have everything mechanized. Like, all the downtime is mechanized. All the vices engaging in your vices to heal is a mechanism. The heat mechanism, if you are chased after, and things like that. Yeah, it's very mechanized. It does feel like a board game sometimes. But if you start cutting those bits and pieces out, it can feel a little bit more organic. And someone pointed out like unfortunately pointed out, like, they were like, you mean you can never win this game? And I was like, most role playings you can't really win per se, but yeah, it is kind of like that. It's a game of like desperate heists, and it just never ends. And so um, I already told about my big sandbox game. This would be based entirely of secrets. What does this plant do? What could you make out of it? What weakness does the monster have? How does the magic work? Yeah, etc. So knowing stuff would literally translate to more options and power in game. And I like the idea of maybe on the day of secrets, it's instead of awarding magic items, right? That's a very, very easy, fantastical thing we do in our fantasy. PCs overcome challenges, you give out magic items, but kind of and I know you guys are like this within our group, within our circle here with our mind fuel. Uh, Handing out magic items is a little bit pedestrian, a little simple, but handing out secrets that offer a bonus or something in your game later on, and that secret could lead to a air quotes item, magic item of importance. But imagine having secrets listed down, and then you cash in those secrets to get a thing, right? um I have a dark secret with the guard, and the guard knows it, and I bring it up in a conversation. Guard's like, shh, don't, shh, stop talking, I'll let you in, but don't ever say this again, we're even, right? That's a key to open a door. I have a secret that lets me open this door to get into this place. I have a secret that a mystic somewhere in the dark mountains gives me the wand or something, and says to me like, you may use it only, you know 3 days in over a 3 days hence, but once you do so, at the end of those 3 days, that magic in our relationship is over. You can never come back here again. Or the true name thing. The druid goes into the circle, and the spirits of the wood, you know, the sound flows through the winds, and suddenly the druid knows the secret to the secret to the true name of stone. And so now, for this once and spoken only once, and never to be able to vocalize it again, the druid goes up to the castle wall and speaks the true name of stone, and suddenly a perfectly round entryway, stone crumbles away into dust, and then that dust blows away into memory, and then walks through, gets a free pass wall spell, right? Secrets could be manipulated that way, and I like it. Maybe you get an ally, or stop a fight because you know a secret. And the best part about secrets as well, and especially about social interactions, is it's not an on-off button. If you use and abuse someone because of a secret, that guard that lets you opens the door and lets you in even though they don't want to, could later on regret it, or use it against you, or sell that information to the highest bidder, or change their mind while you're halfway through your heist to get in the first place, or they leave a note of desperation that someone else finds, and it's like, those damn adventurers, things like that. So Vince says, so keeping certain secrets and learning new ones could change the game drastically. What if only one player knows how magic works and it becomes stronger because of it? Yep, absolutely. Maybe magic isn't about learning how to move your hand to speak words. Maybe magic is it's like gravity. It's like light, and if you learn the secret to manipulate it, it becomes yours. In DC Comics, Superman, Batman, there's a villain known as Darkseid. A pretty good villain. Sometimes not written very well, but very good villain. And one aspect that he has is he wants to learn the anti-life equation, and has been trying to find this anti-life equation to dominate the universe. And what is it? It's just they don't really describe it. They try to, and different writers have actually tried to like show it physically and things like that. But what is an anti-life equation? The same thing could be done with secrets. Like maybe there's a secret to bending bullets, right? If you learn the secret, you can do the thing. And magic, what if the verbalization and okay, follow me on this. The Day of Secrets, and running with what Vince is saying here, that speaking magic aloud, using your somatic components, the movements of your hand and body and such, and the components used in classic magic. You don't want anyone to hear it or see it or know how to do it, because that secret is a formula to allow you to do the thing. Pass wall, fireball, or whatever. And if somebody else finds out about it, they have the ability to do it. That would be pretty interesting, that your zero level human being who overhears you casting a fireball hears what you said, a secret, and allows them to bend nature, and allows them to misty step, bark skin, blah blah blah, right? Be kind of cool. Vince, there are some rare TTRPGs that you can win, but those usually have a very specific focus and are meant to be short term. Yeah, yes. There are games designed like rules light micro games. There are some games that are like, you're only supposed to play this for 5 sessions or whatever. But yes, there are some games you can actually air quotes win, but but for the most part, I remember running them through Blades in the Dark, and it just dawned on them. They were like, so we're never gonna actually never be criminals. And I said, well, you can rise to the top, but there's always somebody coming after you. And they said, well, that means you can never win. And then I had to point out, like, yeah, but most role playing games you can't win. It just bothered them a lot. It was just really weird. Vince says, I once heard a weird secret in a West Marches style of game. Goblins are actually instantly killed when they come in touch with human mother's milk. Weird how knowing this would change the game. I absolutely positively love stuff like that. Um, I did a review of Wagadu, and Wagadu is a MMO, video game, but they have a fifth edition version of it. It is an African fantasy Africa, and um, in Wagadu, they have a big giant monster section of African and Africanized monsters. It's really cool. And something they added to every monster, which I wish other games would steal from, and I like this idea, was something called appeasement. And like there was a monster in there, and when I say monster, it's all kinds of spirits and animals and things like that. But one of them had an appeasement where if you found out what their favorite food was and prepared it, that monster would be nonviolent. They would sit down and talk to you and give you knowledge about the region or something. And I said, "How sweet is that's a great what a great um uh, cheat code, right? Like you mean if I make the favorite food of this monster giant, spirit, beast creature, whatever, it we can actually sit down and talk, and we don't have to. How do you find that out? How do you know what their favorite food was? When you find out their favorite food, do we have time and the ingredients to make their favorite food to make it in the first place? Kind of a cool thing, and I like that. It was called appeasements, and I'm thinking, how interesting would it be to write those? It would be easy 1 to 3 lines per monster, adversary, whatever, in there to write those things down. And they don't all need to be nice. For example, a pack of wolves. Something might be wolves will never, you, you know, um, wolves will never get close to a campfire or those holding an open flame. Right? We know that in real life, like people would grab a stick or something or a torch and swing it around to keep the wolves away. There's nothing in the rules that says that, but that would be interesting to have something like that for most things. All right, Drew Fuzz says secrets can be great for a spy thriller style game, which reminds me how boring the Disney Plus show Secret Invasion. Yeah, they kind of shit the bed on that one. Yeah. Had been no good use there of secrets. What a waste. I agree. And the thing is, with great actors too. I forget the the one that plays the actress that plays the British side of the secret. She was funny. She was great. And then Samuel L. Jackson. You want to waste Samuel L. Jackson? But yes, how awesome I think that show would have been if we never knew who was who. They're scrolls. They can shape change. You, what a waste. And how easy. You don't even need to show the shape changing. Just have the different. You get yourself 10 to 15 actors and actresses. Yes, I know the actresses are actors, but what I mean is you get them all together. You go over the script and go, guess what? Each of you is playing each other. Find a quirk, a trick, a phraseology, as I've used this word a lot, a whistle, a humming a certain tune, left-handed versus right-handed, uh, love a certain drink or something, and then mix that in so that all the actors who are playing other actors are those persons when they shape change into those people and stuff. Oh, that would be sweet. That show could have really done it and had our minds going like, wait, is that person really? No, that's the real. No, that isn't. And what did they do? Nope, they let us know right from the beginning. Scroll, scroll, scroll. What a waste. I agree with you. But something very interesting in Invisible Sun is this weird idea, because Invisible Sun is kind of like a dreamscape, and it's this weird idea that a player character can have a secret, and that secret could be a physical secret that no one knows until it's revealed, and then that secret becomes real. So something very simple would be you're playing a human being, but the secret is you're actually a 9 foot beast person. And despite the fact that you're a human, you're walking around as human, no one sees this, but if the secret's revealed, all of a sudden everything is retconned, and now everyone knows that you're a beast person, and you are physically transformed into a beast person and have always been that person. Everyone just didn't know it. It's very weird. It's like you might have a secret that there's a building on the corner, and if you don't reveal the secret, the building is literally doesn't exist until the secret is revealed. It's very dreamscapey. A little difficult to do that in a hardened, hard world, hard rules role playing game, but I still like that idea. Um, Drew says, I think most TTRPGs can be won to some degree, too often through violence. Yeah, not enough RPGs are about the narrative first. And I'd like, see, that's why I said I think we're kind of on very similar pages, which is why I kind of, I guess if I had to label myself today, I would consider myself to be in the NSR, like new style rules where the rules of it's taking old school rules light system uses but flipping them in a far more contextual way. Like I love games like Microscope and um, like I said, Blades in the Dark. I'm trying to think of other narrative focused games, Monster of the Week and Masks and things like that, where you know a drawback might be something where your character must behave in a certain way instead of just receiving hit point damage, right? And in order to gain a bonus, you must act in a particular way to get that bonus, or at least wipe away a some kind of difficulty or drawback or something like that. Vince says, yeah, I actually wanted to make a huge mind map with secrets for my sandbox game, and each element has 2 or 3 secrets connected to it. Yeah, in it's on my back shelf. Vampire the Masquerade, the by night series. So Chicago by night, Milwaukee by night. I believe they had San Diego by night or Los Angeles, Miami by night. So anyway, they had these setting books, and the very first one was Chicago by night. And the setting books detailed a city and a surrounding area and all the vampires. And in it, they had connection maps with arrows pointing to different characters and NPCs in the game. Most of them vampires. A lot of mortals, things like that, and people being used and abused. And they had arrows pointing from one to the other, and it dictated like who was over who and who, and it was a way of physical representation to represent who had dominance over other individuals, and a lot of it was through bribery and definitely secrets and being able to trace a secret backwards, especially if the person doesn't understand that they're being controlled. So in using vampires again, you had a vampire lord who then maybe had dominion over 3 other vampires, and those 3 other vampires had dominion over like 8 other people. The 8 at the bottom rung didn't know the vampire lord, right? They didn't know there was a connection, and being able to find that backwards would be kind of cool as well, especially if the Day of Secrets is one in which the players are given a hook, a lead into uncovering a secret, and that might change the way the NPCs have always looked at the player characters, because they're like, well, why are you delving into my background? Like, why do you need to know this information so desperately? And that in itself can cause conflict as well. And once they learn those secrets, you know, in real life, you know, it's not just violence that makes another person become violent. Learning people's secrets has always been a motivation to want to end someone else's existence, um, despite the fact that sometimes those secrets to that person absolutely positively the worst thing in the world. To us, we're going like, nah, is it really that big a deal? Right? Yeah. I see you, Vince. Yeah. Vince says this map would not only have NPCs in it, but also plants you could use for alchemy, monsters, places, items, history. This map would be stupidly large. I started it, but I did not come too far. Yeah, you know what? The making a map like that, it could be daunting, but I think the reward out of it, despite the difficulty, I mean, for your players, right? The players find out that there's a secret to making some sort of concoction. Uh, an elixir, a tincture, a stew, a whatever, right? An effervescence or something. And then when they find that out, now they have to go get the ingredients. And so, or they have to get the ingredients, they have to process those ingredients, and they need the equipment to do so. So, for example, finding seeds or a plant or nectar may require aging it or boiling it or cooking it or grinding it or something. And then it might need to be, I don't know, mixed together on a full moon or in a laboratory using Bunsen burners or something like that, right? So, but at the end of it, kind of, kind of, I think there's a bit of a like a puff chest reward. Like I did this thing instead of just going, go to the store, pay gold, here's a potion, right? When players are able to concoct their own things and learn their own secrets, I think it could be much better. Also, finding out secrets may be able to get around an openly dangerous navigatable region in your world. So if you let the players know, hey, listen, there's 200 chimera over the mountain range. There are 67 pit fiends over here. PCs are like, we can't get through that. Well, if you learn the secrets to navigate around and through and thing, you might be able to do it, right? And being able to players getting one over on the world is very, very, very common, and a great reward for players as well. The ability to navigate through traps, uncovering puzzles or the secrets to those puzzles in the first place, that kind of thing. Yep. Yeah, Vince says, yeah, getting a way to hand out random secrets would be so cool. Each book and note would be incredibly valuable. Absolutely. Um, Heck, those secrets could be, there may be a book of secrets that the players could go to. And how about learning a secret, but not knowing who or where it belongs to or what it belongs to? And then, so you have a key, but you need a lock to put the key into. So maybe there's a secret. You Someone learns a secret that there is someone is not a true noble, but there's seven nobles, and the PC's like one of them is not a true noble, and then to from that secret they learn there's a document or something that or a dead body or a trinket or something that they wear, and that gives away it's something from their past life, and that ring came from the southern region, of the accursed desert, and only people in the accursed desert would wear this particular jewel, and this noble wears it all the time to remind them of who they used to be, but they live in the north and no one knows they came from the deep south. And the PCs are like, okay, one of these nobles has that and wears that, but it's not a ring. Maybe they wear it under their clothing. Oh, it's a medallion, and they wear it on a chain around their neck. Okay, so maybe at night they take it off, or what, and then that because it is this whole big secrets. Yep. Yeah, Vince says, I am so stealing that book of secrets. Yeah, yeah. A book of secrets where the secrets are written down. Yeah, I like that. Or maybe new secrets get put in the book all the time. Drew says, that is why I do not like sandbox gaming. It is far too much work for my taste. I prefer to play with fast and loose, with just a central theme to have everything tied to it. I, I think that's a, I would disagree with you that I feel like you have a different preparation, but I still think it would be a sandbox. I'd play in that. Hell yeah. I think you think you're wrong, but you're mistaken. um, mm, yeah, certainly different kind of fun. Yeah. Basically a way to show in game what part of the puzzle they discovered and what more there could be to learn, like a blank mind map which slowly reveals itself. Yep. Yeah, I'm into that. I'm into it. It's just it, what a great thing to hand to the players so that you don't have to keep track of it, but they can use it because uh, quantum ogre doing the quantum ogre, right? Where um, the, the secret could be an NPC has a debt to a uh, monstrous entity, and the now you may not have thought about which NPC has a debt to a monstrous entity, right? Like a rock, something corruptible, like a Rakshasa, maybe not so much a demon or a devil, but something like that, right? An old hag or whatever. And you guys know I love hags and sphinxes and naga, whatever. But they have a debt to this, that they can. I don't know. The old hag saved the life of one of their kids, and now they are forever indebted, right? And but you didn't plan on which NPC has this connection. So the players go, hey, I have this secret. The guard is the one that has the connection to that secret. Is it true? And you go, wow, I didn't realize you really knew that. Even though you knew in the back of your head, you're like, I didn't have any. It was um copy guard number 687, right? But what a great way to like tie in what the players have earned versus how they use it. And then you find out that this guard that you just created off the top of your head, you didn't even come up with a name yet, and you were afraid that they were going to ask the name because you didn't have your list of random names pulled up yet. It's the first 30 seconds of the game, haven't even eaten your first slice of pizza, and now this guard has a connection to a powerful entity, corrupting force. But guess what? Now you get to insert this corrupting force into this game that you had no idea from before, right? And it's one thing playing off the other. And so, like for you, like Drew says, the real sandbox was the secrets we played all along. T-shirt. Yeah, I mean, for me, I'd be I'd be slow clapping in my head or outwardly, like, yeah, yeah, that's true. I One of my best friends and players from Philly, he would do that all the time. Like he would go up to he would pick random NPCs and would just say out loud that he had some kind of familial connection with them. Oh, we went to the same warrior academy. We learned swordsmanship together. We're almost equals because we had such a rivalry, and we'd all look at each other like, I guess it's true now, right? Like it was just one of those things. Like, all right, well, I guess you're right. And what a great way to take a 0 level throwaway and made him a ninth level fighter because you're ninth level or whatever, because that's what. And he would do this all the time. Random bandits and monsters that was just like, you attacked my uncle or my family, I remember you, and blah blah blah. Then just go with it, and the monster's just like, huh, should have killed you when you were in your mama's womb or something, like, you know what I mean, like dumb stuff like that. And we would go back and forth. He was very like myself, a huge movie script type of fan, and we would just fall into it and just embrace it all the time. Vince says the book could also be a place, like a huge mural in a temple of secrets. Oh, I like that better. Where maybe magically they start being carved or painted on the walls, or what? Okay, okay. Let's take that idea. There's a temple where secrets are slowly being revealed in a temple, but the players have to leave the temple to engage with those secrets. They don't know if there's anyone or anything else coming to that very same temple to find even more secrets. And who's to say that the players don't have secrets of their own that appear in the temple? Or there are rooms or gateways to go into the temple that you're only allowed to see the secrets that you saw based on the entryway to the temple. So different people enter the temple for different angles, and there's different secrets that they learn. Or they're all the same secrets in the temple, but they just apply to different people in different ways. So a player character that is a warlock that has a patron, the secret that they have a debt to a powerful entity could absolutely apply to them as well as someone else. How many times have we seen law shows where the lawyers, detectives, or whatever reveal that they have a hidden piece of evidence that exposes a secret to our main characters or characters in our story, only to find out that the detective was shrugging his shoulders like, I, I didn't really know the answer. I just pretended like so it could be that much as well. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Says, ooh, having a sphinx would be so fun in this game. Imagine you get a random secret each time you solve one riddle, and maybe you need to learn more details and secrets to solve the next riddle. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, and listen, this is a great. I'm not a person who likes riddles and puzzles, and what I mean, not in tabletop role playing games. And what I mean by that is, I think riddles are I think riddles are cute. I think tabletop role playings are cute. Combining them together can be difficult because you have players who absolutely positively hate riddles. There are players who love riddles, but they're not very good at solving them. And unfortunately, a lot of our most popular riddles have a single answer, and it tends to put players against a wall or a locked door, and then they stand there to try to solve it. But this could be very um, um, this moves and shapes itself. You go to the Sphinx. The Sphinx gives you a riddle. The players leave with the riddle. They go about their adventuring. They find clues to get the answer to it. Then they go back to the Sphinx. The Sphinx give, oh, you solved the riddle. Here's a secret. They get the secret. They use the secret in their back pocket. That secret gives them a clue to solve the next riddle, and that means you PCs can run around all day long. So I love that idea. I love it. Vince says, great, thanks, DBJ. Now I have to shift my focus again to that game. You engaged me too much in it. Any ideas what rule system I could use as a base for it? Ooh, it highly depends on what kind of riddles you use and how you handle it in game. If they are stuck, you could allow rolls to get hints. Yeah, it my problem with riddles is the same problem I have with traps, classic traps, pit traps, falling ceiling traps, walls closing in traps. Is that they tend to be pass fail, and I like things that are dynamic and again they don't lead you to locked doors. So a pit trap, either someone falls in it and it's a gotcha, or they don't fall in it and it's useless, right? Rather than this is something that's intrinsic in the world where yes they avoid it, but then they're given a clue that there are more traps and things like that, just like riddles. A sphinx that the policies can go back to and gain information from, and the sphinx themselves might be, if someone finally solves 99 riddles, the sphinx is released from their charge or something from 1,000 years of protecting this tomb or whatever. And the Sphinx really loves the PCs because they're like, yes, 87, we're almost there, right? Yeah, it could be something like that. Drew says, I totally agree with you on that. In my opinion, puzzles and riddles usually ruin the flow of the game. And it's not the riddles and puzzles themselves. It's the interaction between their use in the game and what the players are doing. And if they come upon a wall, a door, a portal that they can't get through, and the only way to get through it is the riddle puzzle conundrum, then it stops the flow. Rather than this is something folded in a piece of paper in their back pocket that they can keep unfolding every time they rest or show to an NPC, or an adversary steals it out of their pouch unknowingly and they have to chase after this like that's the kind of thing I love. um Vince says, but this in this case the riddle could involve just trying to learn new things to solve the riddle. Exactly. Exactly, right? Especially if the Sphinx or chamber guardian isn't intrinsic to doing the rest of the game. Like the chamber, like I said, the chamber guardian could be the allies of the PCs. Like, you guys are killing it. Thank you. You got another hint. Here's a secret. I'm going to give you a secret. And if you come back and the chamber guardian could be like, listen, I am arcanely unable to give you the answer until you solve it, but I can give you hints and doing that. Yeah, Drew says, this is why I love DBJ. The pass fail stuff is truly the worst. I loathe pass fail. Now, don't get me wrong. Sometimes, listen, we're in the flow of a game. You just want to know if they got through this thing or not, did the thing or not. All right, boom, go past it, go past it, go past it. But normally, what I default to is I don't even bother rolling if it's not that important. And you already want them to get through the door. Guess what? The door's open. How they get the door open? They're badasses. I don't know. They got the door open, right? The strong one kicks it open. The smart one uh, does the key code. The agile one picks the lock. Great, you get through. We're going to keep going, keep going, keep going. But I also love. I understand. Okay, let me go backwards a little bit. On this day of secrets, because I've got to bring it back here. It can be. I understand there are some creators out there who have a hard time narrating uh yes, no, if, and, or buts. Let's see if I can write this down. Yes, let's see. Yes, no, if, and, or buts. Um, and and navigating the yes, no, if, and, or buts is basically someone succeeds, but they have a drawback or a consequence. Someone fails, but they get some kind of benefit from it. They both succeed and fail, and I like that kind of thing. A perfect example of like picking a lock to a door. Do they succeed in opening the lock or not? Well, that's simple, yes or no. But do they make noise? Do they break their lock picks? Do they drop their lock pick? Does the lock pick get stuck in the lock and now they can't continue with it? How long will it take them to get through the door? That can be very important as well. And so, time. You guys know I used to say this before: time, energy, resources, and I guess there's extra to that: time, energy, resources, social dynamic, and energy. Economics is also a thing that can affect pass fail. Yes, you will succeed in opening a door. No, you won't do it instantly, right? Yes, you can convince the guard. No, they're not going to keep this secret for long. Yes, you pick the lock on the door, but no, you're not going to be able to do it without making a lot of noise. Right? Drew says, indeed, not rolling, fail forward, and such things are neat. I designed my system, however, differently so that success failure thrown out completely, since it is not about the capabilities of the PCs. Ooh. In a recent, even though this has been out for a while, I think 2020, 21. Anyway, the Lumen RPG. It's got an SRD. It's free to use. The individual, I think, made like 17 different games off of their own system. But anyway, in the Lumen system, like Fate and like some Powered by the Apocalypse, it's not about skill. It's about approaches. How do you approach the situation? And Lumen, being a rules light system, is like you can approach very forcefully and non-hidden, very, very impact like, punching, kicking someone, right? Or I'm just going to brute force hack the door with my computer system. Or I'm going to intimidate this person by punching them in the jaw to get what I want. Then there's other two approaches. There is a sly approach. I'm going to maneuver around the situation to get to the thing. I'm going to hack into the system, but I really don't want them to know that I'm here. I'm going to take the time to talk to the guard and convince them without using violence. Try to bribe them. And then the last one is one of, I think it's like in three stages. Last one is using timing and caution. I'm going to learn the behavior of the guard for 3 days and find out what his weakness is. Or I'm going to hack into the system, but I'm just going to make a back door. I don't want to actually hack in and get in. I want to hack away from me so that when I come back later, I can just couple keystrokes and I'm inside. So that's kind of thing. Yep. Drew says, I looked at the Lumen system. I like that it basically can be played with fudge dice. Yep. It's D6 system. Yeah. It's literally pass. It's 1-2 pass, 5-6. I'm sorry, 1-2 fail, 5-6 pass, and then 3-4. You kind of get what you want, but it's kind of not exactly what you want, but whatever, right? Heck, you could even go even further. One could be you failed N something else bad happens. Two could be you fail. Three could be you fail, but you gain some kind of benefit. Four could be yes, you passed, but not what you really wanted. Five could be you passed, and then six could be not only did you succeed and pass what you wanted, but you get some other benefit from it. Woo! uh, yes, no, if and or buts. I need to make a T-shirt about that. Anyway, Death Angel says, "Hail, y'all! Last of my vacation, had fun playing ham radio in Huntsville. Oh wow, okay. Ham radios, man. I didn't know anybody that did that. Anyway, yes, it can very well be played with fudge dice and very easily as well. So anyway, guys, we're getting to the end of our day of secrets. Um, I whenever I get to the end of these, I want to reveal something to you guys. Whenever I get to the end of these live streams, part of me is going like, damn, maybe we should start this live stream all over again, because it feels like the live stream hashes out all the issues for us to start over again, to do it all to go like, okay, now let's really start the conversation. But also, um, this happening before I go to work kicks the dust out of my head. It's like my morning coffee, and I hope for you guys, this is like nothing specific in these live streams helps you out, but you go, man, there's a little nugget. I'm going to use that. I'm going to steal that. I'm going to use that. And I hope it trains us, because it's training me, and I'm doing this in a public forum, to always be creative. That we're never out of ideas, even when we think we are never truly out of ideas. Yeah, thanks there, Vince. Yeah, just trying to be a fount of inspiration for you guys, and go, maybe you're probably better than you think you are when it comes to some creative uh, endeavors. And if you think you're not, guess what? Everybody else around you is far better than you yourself. And so it's far better for me to rely on three, four, five other players to come up with the great ideas to make me look brilliant, than to try to, like, keep punching myself in the forehead like, there must be something else here. Yeah. Uh, Oh, thanks there, Death Angel. Drew says you could always summary videos for the people who are not into hour-long streams. I have actually thought about that. Woo, that would be kind of daunting. I would probably have to do like 3 to 5 minute videos. Um, I don't know if I could do them in shorts, like 30-second ones, but I even thought about going backwards and doing like a one pager for every day of, do a one pager, so that at the end of a year, 365 days, well, really wouldn't be 365 days, but at the end of 365 days, I could have 365 days of material if I did a one pager on every single one of them, with some like random tables and things like that. Yeah, like, yeah, Shadow. He said that's not a bad idea, even a short. Yeah, because everybody can't be part of it. I get that. I don't actually, if I showed you the analytics, most people, the average amount of time on my channel is 10 minutes. So there's actually 50 minutes of air quotes YouTube wasted time. But yeah, I very much could do that. I wish I could give it to an editor and have them break up some of these, like basically edit them down to like 5 to 10 minute clips, or take one live stream and break it up into like 4 or 5 different chunks or something. Yeah, DBJ starts his shorts channel. It's a lot of work. Ugh, I got a full-time job. It takes too much of my time. And I'm an old dude, man. I've got 4.5 years before I retire. I'm counting down. I'm taking the chalk and I'm like scratching on the wall before they take the shackles off. Yeah, oh yeah. This old man can't wait to retire, and this will be my job. I'm not going to be a Walmart greeter. I'll be doing this online, or some version of this. Maybe I joke around about the T-shirt thing, but I really do think that some of the brilliance that comes up in here, I'd probably do things like that. Yeah. Shadow says, shorts can get you attention, not hard to edit it. You say that, youngin, but I'm old too. Well, yeah, there is that. Yeah. Drew says, I have to say I hate shorts. I cannot understand what people get out of shorts. I I don't hate them, but I don't go down the rabbit hole that shorts slash TikTok does, which is weird. Like, it doesn't hold my attention in the way it's supposed to, and because I'm a long former, and part of that is my job, right? Like I listen to hour and a half podcasts, multiple of them all day long. So it's like audiobooks. I can listen to an audiobook, although 2 to 3 hours is my limit, and then I have to break off of it. But yeah, yeah. But anyway, guys, thank you very much for being part of the show. I really appreciate it. Uh, Thank you for actually coming back, because you guys know I take these giant chunky breaks, so I really appreciate that as well. Again, beseeching anyone who's gotten here this long, like, share, subscribe, comment below. Come, give me prompts. Just put DBJ. Got some prompts for you. How about this or this or this or that? Now I may alter them slightly just to fit into a thumbnail, but yeah, give me some of those prompts. And in the middle of your day, literally just middle of the day, click, 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 click. Yes, I know there's a Discord channel, and I haven't been there in months. I get that, but that's even a place for you to put them, to hold them, to go back to them, to post them somewhere else. So even that kind of thing. So anyway, guys, have a great one. I'll see you later. Um, be creative. Top off all that mind fuel. Yeah. Does 50? Yeah, I'm 52. So yeah, yeah, I'm with you. True says, I guess I'm too old for the TikTok style, but sure, not as ancient. Yeah, we're in our 50s here. We're you, 50 is like the 40-ish kind of 50s. It's kind of like the don't give a shit mindset, where it's just we look back at our youngest age and go like, damn, why did I even care? So yeah, it's about that time, and we're those of us in this age bracket have lived long enough to see things happen, that when young people think they're going through them for the first time, we go, yeah, we already seen this 3 times already. um, Television shows, movies, media, um, um, uh, uh, um, pop culture, uh, trends, and things like that. You're just rolling our eyes like, yeah, we've already seen this. So anyway, guys, have a great one. We'll see you later. See you tomorrow. Peace.